Well, we just got a lesson about oysters. I feel much smarter now, right? Well, now it's time to elevate your wine know-how with Erik Segelbaum, founder of Sommelier. That's how we do it. That's how we say it?
Sommelier.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, let's break a couple of myths first, Erik. And how about this one? Everyone says red wine to go with fish.
Absolutely, that works. Like red wine with meat, white wine with fish, that's a stalwart of an old generation that was very regimented. In fact, some of my favorite pairings with fish are red wine. If you've never had Beaujolais with sushi, you are missing out.
Missing out,
yeah,
okay.
So the color, it's eat what you want, drink what you want, but don't get so caught up in the color.
Okay, got it. What about sparkling wines here? Any place for those when you've got the fish dishes?
Everywhere. Sparkling wines go with everything from appetizer to dessert and everything in between.
Okay.
And the world needs more of them.
I know, right? So that's a safe spot. If you've got the sparkling wine and then fish dish, you're going to be okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk varieties here. Now, a lot of wines tend to be trending certain times of the year, certain seasons. What's trending now and what is in and out? Going in and out, like fashion.
Sure. So there's been a huge shift in the paradigm of how people like to drink. A generation ago, it was big, oaky, concentrated, high alcohol extracted reds. And now we're on the complete flip side of that.
Yeah.
Bright, lower alcohol, lighter whites, lighter reds, high acid, fresh whites. Chilled reds is a huge thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
So any lower alcohol, high fruit flavor profile red is going to chill perfectly.
Did they not chill red wines back in the day?
Oh, no.
It was a thing, right?
Yeah,
now that's kind of started to be a thing nowadays. I know, I was talking about that the other day, how some people like a chilled red. All right, let's get down to what you've brought today and tell me about these.
All right, absolutely. So in the interest of wine and oysters, I brought 3 different wines because as we just learned, you have different flavor profiles of East Coast and West Coast oysters. Yeah. So for the East Coast, the more salty, briny, I have brought the Villa Maria Earth Garden Sauvignon Blanc. This is from New Zealand. Here's a fun trick when you're opening a wine with a screw cap and you want to impress your friends. Break it and then...
Oh my goodness, that looks pretty cool.
So I like this because Sauvignon Blanc is super citrusy, always, no matter where it comes from. And New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, it's like grapefruit and lemon, a little bit of grassiness, even some passion fruit. And it goes beautifully with the more saline, salty version of the East Coast oysters.
Yes.
But this particular one, I'm incredibly excited about because Villa Maria is the sponsor of the Billion Oyster Project, where they're working with New York restaurants, claiming the oyster shells after the restaurants have served the oysters and then putting them into the river as both a cleanup effort and also to establish a new growth of oyster ecosystem.
That's wonderful, and it was kind of what Tim was touching on earlier. Okay,
Exactly.
so this one here is going to go good with oysters, and I could just smell it. It smells wonderful.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's next?
All right. So for the West Coast oysters, I too prefer West Coast oysters. Look, whatever your preference, you're right.
Yes.
But I prefer the more creamy, rich, and melony flavor of West Coast oysters.
All right, go West Coast.
For me, it's rosé. This is the Casa La Postal La Rosé. So this is modeled after a Provençal style rosé. So the grapes are Grenache, Cinsault, Mourvèdre, right? The same grapes that you'd see in Provence, but this is from Chile, from the Apalta Valley, from one of the more highly respected producers down there. If you've ever been to New Zealand, one of their favorite pairings is bluff oysters, which are special New Zealand oyster, and rosé. Rosé and oyster goes really well. Just make sure it's a dry rosé.
I'm actually going to taste this one. We have a lot of rosé fans here.
Yeah, I'm one of them too.
That could get me in trouble. That is so good. Okay, and what is third? Because these two are already fabulous.
Okay, so third, I thought I would bring something that pairs with East Coast, West Coast, because look,
you one for both.
Yeah, you don't have to get so granular about it. The secret is, if I'm being honest, most food and most wine go together. Extraordinary food and wine pairings, that's where sommeliers like me come in. But the reality is most things go pretty well together. So I thought I would bring one that's good for East Coast, West Coast, so you don't have to worry. But I also thought it would be fun to demo a good way to open a bottle of wine because it's something people are struggling with sometimes.
Okay, tell me about that because I see you've got 2 different options here.
Exactly. First and foremost, if you have one of these,
throw it away.
Throw it out.
Oh no, I got one of those.
Well, no, use it if you like. These are really hard to work. There's no mechanism to cut the foil, so you might end up cutting yourself by trying to do it with a knife. And they almost always break the cork because this requires pressure, not leverage.
Okay.
So my favorite is this, known as a wine key or a waiter's friend. It's super easy. And the one place where I think people go wrong with this is they try to cut off the top, and the problem with that is
Yeah.
Right? So go right under the lip there. In fact, you can see it's so stable that I can
That you can lift
hold
it.
the bottle
Okay,
on
so
it.
do that.
And then just cut around. Now, you might be more comfortable twisting the bottle like this.
Oh,
in a
don't do
restaurant,
that.
in a restaurant, I wouldn't do that, but at home, who cares? Do it.
Right, do whatever you want.
So you want to cut
Erik, I'm so sorry, but we're running out of time.
Oh, no.
You go ahead and open up that bottle, but there you go. Those are tips from the pro, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Fantastic wines. Okay, everyone, you can learn so much more, and all the wines we talked about today are easy to find. Just ask your favorite wine merchant, and as always, please enjoy responsibly. Thanks so much for being with us today, Erik.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Look, he poured me some too.